What's up guys, Nightingale here, and welcome back to another video. Yet again, I know, not a guide. I'll get to it, I promise. It's free unequipped right now, so I got a few things that I can probably do. I just need to get the time. So, what we're here for to talk about today is Epic 7's balance adjustment survey that they released earlier today, and I want to go over a few things because this is a step in the right and potentially dangerously wrong direction. And I just want to caution some people, and I also want to put this out there in case Smilegate does listen to my video, but I mean, I don't know. They might not. But I want to kind of go over a few things and show you the survey, and I'm also going to put the survey and link down below so that you guys can participate in this, but please take the few minutes that I will try to make this as short as possible to listen to this video, because you do need to think about this a little bit deeper than just fill in your favorites and hit send. So, what they're basically doing is this is one of the first attempts of them trying to start getting ready for the balance update. Now, here's the thing. New players should probably not be filling this out because it's basically just fill in your favorite unit and hope that you get them pulled. And you don't really have enough information to know what needs to be balanced or not. Prime example is AOL really broken? For the most part, no. Just needs one thing changed and she would literally be a normal unit that's not super power crept. But again, that's gonna be my opinions and things and stuff that I'm gonna put into the survey. I'm not gonna fill it out completely here on the video, but I will go over everything with you. So basically, here's what's going on. From today the 25th till the 3rd of March, this survey will be active, and this will be this doesn't provide any reward or anything like that. They just want your general information. So what do they want out of you? They want to know, where are you? Which we are on global. I am rank 70. And what content do we enjoy most? You know what? I will, just to give you the idea, we're going to say we enjoy side stories and guild wars and hunts. There we go. So I did my multiple choice. I have experience in both, stuff like that. What are my leagues? Your mom. No, I'm not legend in either one of these. So you'll go in and you'll fill these out. How often do you play? Every day, 1 day a week, never, rarely, whatever you want to put in here that is actually truth, please do that. Okay, so here is my first issue here with this one. Which Moonlight heroes do you think are rarely used and need to be considered for balance adjustments? Okay. This is a loaded questions of opinion. What one people think is trash is another man's treasure. Keep this in mind. Every game's got these people. What one unit is superly overused to one is never touched by another. What one unit that everybody thinks is trash, another guy may completely treasure and actually may dominate with because he's put the time and research and love into the unit to make it work. So, this is going to be very touchy. This is going to give them a general idea, but I think this is going to be too much parroting here, and I'm very afraid of this. Personally, I'm going to sit down and really think about the units, their meta, and what you go over across all boards, because you're not only talking about 5 stars, you're talking about 4 stars and 3 stars. Yes, there is one of each. So I'm gonna do my best here to do what I can, but here is where I find the biggest issue is because what is rarely used may be because of bad character design. Or not necessarily character design, but like skill design of how they design their skills. Another reason it could be rarely used is because there's too much stuff in the meta that pushes it out. But if one thing changed, it pushes the unit back in. There's so much stuff that's subjective here that you really have to consider. Please, when you fill this out, don't just think because X unit counters your Y unit. Think about this in the long term. Why aren't these units used? Is it the kit's outdated? Is it the unit itself is the function of the unit just bad design and overall, like the skills don't really fit what the game is after, or just you've got to really go deeper into this. So please elaborate when you do. please make sure you write them dissertations so that they sit here and read these things for hours on end going, okay, I know why. Now they're going to do it here for normal heroes, which also include limited units. So, personally, you're going to have a lot of people who don't know a lot about a lot of units. And you need to be smart here as well. Just like with the Moonlights, these can be deceptive on where you're at. Because again, you may play a unit and you think it's God tier, and it may work for you. And then another person may play it and think it's absolute trash. So this is an idea for them to get a general consensus, but I think it's going to come down to what people end up writing inside these and giving their explanations will determine how they take your information. Not that this is what they're going to do, but this is how, if I was reading through every single one of these things, I would be looking at what are they actually saying to see if what they're talking about makes sense. If they're just saying, buff this unit because I want it more OP, that doesn't matter. This is your one chance to not screw this up. Please, guys, don't mess this up. Okay, here's a harder one to deal with, because a lot of the artifacts, at least 5-star artifacts, that are rarely used and need to be considered for balance adjustments, when I was looking at this on the account, it comes down to subjectively good artifacts. If we look at, example, Ha Young's, pretty sure that's how we're saying it, at least that's what I was told in chat, that's how you say her name, is Ha Young. If you look at her artifact, which is just brand new released yesterday-ish. Technically the day before, but yesterday for me. Her artifact on a lot of warriors is garbage. But if you put it on a specific unit, like I was looking at Infernal Quasar, it's a pretty decent artifact. So it's going to be a rarely used artifact. Or we go to some that just aren't touched. In this case, this kind of goes back to that Alexis Basket theory, which is something that we need to consider. Alexis Basket used to be foddered away all the time. People thought it was a garbage artifact. I don't remember what its exact stats were, but then it became what we know today. So, we need to look at artifacts that we truly find zero value in. And not necessarily that it's not good for the units you currently own, but would it work if it was on something else? Or, what would make this artifact better work on something else? You have to look at all scenarios, not just this artifact's trash, find out what it is, and then tell them exactly why it's trash if you think it's trash. Don't just say, needs a better chance to proc Gab. No, you do not need anything further than 40% to proc Gab. All right, let's just start there with Alexis Basket, because I know somebody's going to say, it needs to be 100%. No, don't. Please, God, no. It's already. If it's on their team, it's already 100% chance. When it's on your team, it's 0. Just remember that. You'll thank me later. Okay, which Covenant heroes would you like to see in drop-up rate most? Okay, number 10 really kind of is like, why are you doing this in this survey? I get that they're wanting to know who do we think needs to be rated up. But this just got voided out with what they just announced last live stream, which is the triple banner that's going to start coming around or come around or be a one-off thing. We don't know. We don't have enough information on this. But if you're planning on bringing that triple banner, this no longer really matters. Because if whatever 3 units I care about, I just can't get, let's say right now, Summer Assyria could not be on it. I don't know if this, nope, it's not showing up on the way the window capture is going. But if I click on this, it's Summer Assyria. I could click it here and I think you'll be able to see it once I select it. Yeah, so right there, Summer Assyria would be, this is not, necessarily an opinion, but I'm just saying, like on that banner, you wouldn't be able to get her until she's rerun. Once she's rerun, then she'd be available to it. We need more information on that banner. So this basically becomes I just don't have this unit. I would like to see this more. I just need more imprints. This question is stupid. But it does give them an idea of who does the community find the most value in terms of RGBs. You can also pick limited units, as there was Summer Assyria, and here you go. If you scroll down far enough, here is Soul, which proves to you that that collab units are in here as well. I will go ahead and say that you should go ahead and give them a good faith effort that you are going to eventually see reruns of everything. It still needs to be proven, but try not just to spam collab units here saying we want to see another collab. While it would give them an idea, yes, go for it. Okay, Moonlights, I kind of get a little bit more. But yes, there is technically a pecking order to them to a certain degree of they're trying to work them through a specific long-term rotation so that they're not just mass cycling out one unit all the time. But they also want to know the general aspect of the community of who would they like to see summoned again. Be careful, because for somebody, you may get the Holy Grail. You might get all 3 in the next 3 reruns. If they were to implement this starting 6 weeks from now, you may see your first choice. And then 6 weeks from that, you will see your second choice. And then 6 weeks from that, you may see your third choice. You will not have Mystics to be able to do all 3 of those unless you are dropping an absurd amount of money here. But this is an idea for them to see what we think we would like to see run again. This one is actually kind of, I'm okay with this, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. We've got the Galaxy bookmarks, we have the Daily Covenants, we have chances of getting them. I would rather them put them out on their own schedule than them forcing them through. I don't want to see Apocalypse Ravi rerun in the next 6 months because she was just run within the last 6 months. Just to make the people happy, the community happy that they get another A Ravi run. While if that's what the community really wants is another A Ravi run, I would rather see another unit come through that may have not had its time. There are still a few that have never been rerun, that are older. Do keep that in mind. Which 4 stars would you like to see? Guys, this one really doesn't matter. You do not need AOL that bad. I'm sorry. You really don't need AOL this bad to have it here. You're more likely to get a 4-star out of the Galaxy summon than you are here. And honestly, this really doesn't matter. This is a very pointless question. But honestly, if I would say heroes that they need to run through here are things like Carmen. People need Carmen. People really need, for beginners, General Purgus is wonderful for Wyvern. We've got, Infernal Kawazu's not bad, especially with now Conqueror Lilith existing, the Vigor buff. You can cheese him a little bit more. There's some units in here that are good, but, I mean, depending on what you're doing, a lot of these you just don't need, or you're just going to have a collection of these already. So, this is going to come down to personal opinion, I mean, as everything will, but this is kind of a pointless question. And then they're going to ask you what is the overall positive, or what was your opinion of the balance change on 217, which if you don't, please go research the balance changes and look over them and don't just fill this out. Actually go over and see what has changed. And then please give us the detailed information there. Can I go to the next thing? Okay, next up is, oh, they need answers in all of this before I can go on to the next one. Okay, I did not pay attention to that. I maybe should have. I'm not sure what's on the next page because I haven't filled this out and I don't want to fill this out on here because I don't really want you guys to have my opinion, which is why I don't want to do this. But I think we've covered it enough to where I can give you guys the general idea of how you should really approach this. Research and think about this. Don't just fill it in to give them some pointless data. This is our one chance as a community to come together and give them our put together thoughts so that we can change and make the game better. Now, one last thing that I want to do, which I will get this off so that you're not sitting here just getting absolutely blasted by this. Let me make sure this is my game, which should be right there. Yep. You're going to sit here and look at my lobby while I talk about a couple things that I just want to add in here at the end. So we were talking about this on stream today, and I wanted to give you 5 suggestions, and this is for the community and for Smilegate, that would make this game better in some quality of life things that they need to do. Because this may be, I've seen it in other games, they say this is the first of many, and it's the first of only surveys that they will give you before they start hard implementing things. So, in this case, I'm going to take just a few minutes, and I ask for your time. I'll put a timestamp here so that people can cut to this immediately, and I'll make a note of it in the description below that there will be this here. I want to give you 5 suggestions that will help make this game better overall, or quality of life changes that they need to add. One is to change the PvP mode of Arena. Well, specifically when I talk Arena, I'm talking the mock battle system. Basically, my thought process here changes over mock battles from when you create a room here, there's a lot more option here. This basically is like a free game mode, and this is what most of us use when we create tournaments or things like that. When we want to test out units, battle friends, this is the place to go. So inside this game mode, they get rid of a lot of the rules and restrictions that we have and now give us a kind of more of an open menu to be able to make whatever we want. In this case, what I'm talking about is being able to have 1v1s. So a unit versus unit, and you can select duplicate units. And in a menu, the way I look at it is set it up to the side and click allow duplicate units, one per team. So I can pick a Seaside Bologna, you can pick a Seaside Bologna, and we can go at it. If we want to see who has the best RB, who has the best whatever, we can go at it and see what happens. You can set to where you can reset heroes' skills, where you can turn their the skill level ups on or off. So full on or full off. So you can force it to plus 15, all units to plus 15, or you can force it to all skills 0. You can take away awakenings and reset them all to no awakenings, no level up, so it takes them back to level 5. Because I know a lot of people like going out there and having level 5 battles. This will help free up people's inventory because of hanging on to hanging on to all of these little 5 stars or level 5 units for free battles. Just make it a switch. Click. Done. They're all 5. You get to keep your gear and your units, but they're going to they're going to just hard set them down to those stats. What else? So that you can also set up the amount of units. You can set it up no further than what the game allows, which is currently 4 units per team. But you can go from 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which is cool. Yes, it'll allow us to check out Guild War defenses and do things like that. It would give us an advantage of being able to play around with that. It would allow for multiple teams. So if you want to set up, not just when we're like, hey, I'll do best out of 3. No, you pick the game mode and you say best of 1, 2, 3 matches. So you have to hard pick 3 matches, which I think is kind of what the World Cup thing is sounding like. I think that's what they're kind of going at with it. But I had this idea long before, and I think there's a lot that they could do here in the PvP game mode that would be more free overall. Personally, it's a good concept where they're at, but by changing this, will allow more freedom for the community to be able to create cooler tournaments. It allows them to create better rule sets, and overall, it's not a lot of time because all the rules are already in the game. This just is allowing you to turn them on and off as we see fit. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is another one that just makes no sense to be in this game, and I want to show it right here for those who don't know, is the Guild Blessing of Healing. This is my number 2 change, which is the Wasted Guild buff. Get rid of this thing and change it to something more valuable. At this point in time, when we talked about it on stream, the best thing that we came up with that wouldn't make this super breaking or anything like that is one of 2 options. Option number 1 is just a flat increased drop chance overall throughout the game. So it's a % buff that you can keep up at all times. Or you change it to a % increase of friendship across all games. Now, we did the math, and it would take 1,200,000 gold a day to keep this up. To put this in perspective, this means a guild would need to house 24 members daily, donating 50k at minimum, to sustain all 3 buffs 24/7. Is that favoring small guilds and guilds that are dead? Yeah, that doesn't favor them that well, but it will also encourage people to stay into active guilds and prevent staying in dead guilds, and will make you want to move out to something more active. By doing this, what it basically allows us to have is it's going to either give us an option for increased friendship, which is always nice, but sure, eventually some people will say, I eventually friendshipped all 10 my units, and now what? So therefore, I think the increased drop chance is probably the technically better option, but you'd have to balance it out because it needs to be a small % throughout the days. So no matter whether you're farming for AP, trying to get Catalyst, or farming in your hunt, trying to get a drop, the drop chance is there that it's increased, whether it be 2%, 5%, 10%. I think 10% is too high personally for a 24/7 buff, but hey, like a 5% jump for everything, why not? It's not going to make your Catalyst drop that much faster anyway. Guild, the option number 3, which I am going to very lightly touch on because I've made a whole video ranting on about this, is the fact that we want... It's not necessarily about the Mystic Summon system, but my number 3 option for quality of life is taking this garbage pity system and moving it to the Moonlight system. By adding the pity here, it would take you over 50 months of just normal collection. 50 months of normal collection. So 2 years and 2 months to collect the Covenant or the Galaxy bookmarks to pity a unit here. Naturally, there is no way in shape, form, or another that this is whale friendly. Whales cannot buy these things easily. They are not just readily sitting in the shop that they can sit here and spam these things all day long. And as whales who spend several $1,000s a month tell me, they don't need the ML5s anyway. They're just wanting the ML4. So to them, they're after the ML4, you're after the ML5s. You can switch back and forth between them, and as I stated in the video and in the comments, I think the best system possible is that the best case scenario is that you cannot select the current rate up new unit. In this case, for those who are wanting to know, it would be Bad Cat Armin would not be the selectable pity here until after she comes off the rotation. Then she can immediately be selected, and you can hit that. If you're saving a pity for it, click done and move on. But this is something that would be a huge quality of life, adding a pity system here, as well as letting players be able to do the pick a ML5 or ML4 that they would like to work towards over the next year. And if they get it, great. They get it early and the pity resets. They can go on to the next unit. Or 2 years later, a year and a half later, or a year later, depending on what actually their influx of spending, trying to get the Galaxy bookmarks comes out to, they get an ML5 that they end up getting the ML5 off pity. Just as the system works here, if they pull a ML5 that is not the pity unit, it doesn't reset the pity. Same with the ML4. It's a win-win and a great system overall for the long term. This is no way in form pay to win, because whales can't go that hard on it because they are very limited on what they can get. They would have to spend absurd amounts. And at that point, they're just going to hit Covenant anyway and probably get it before they would get the Galaxies to pity the unit. Think about it. Don't just instantly react. Next, and the next one is one that I don't know how popular this would be, but talking with Twitch chat, we agreed that this would be a great change. So change number 4, and it only applies to Covenant summons. Covenant summons should guarantee you a guaranteed 4-star on a 10 pull. Now, I will leave the math to Smilegate on how they would want to come up with this. But, so that you're not sitting here going, well, that's broken. They can come up with a math on how they would like to spread out the 4-star. Or when you go into this specific system, you can have the, they'll have to do the math on where they want it. But getting a 4-star artifact or a guaranteed 4-star hero here is not the end of the world. Honestly, it makes it a little more valuable so that when you click that button and it doesn't spark, you're not just completely disgusted with yourself that you got nothing. It happens all the time. I could do it right here, and I could walk away with a purple spark, or I could walk away with a yellow spark, or I could walk away with no spark, and it's just 3 stars. But I think it would be a quality of life overall, because once you eventually claim most everything, you're just hunting dupes, fodder, or potentially a new unit out of here. This becomes a late game mechanic, not something a new player should technically be dealing with, but I think that the guaranteed 4-star here would help out. Now, the final thing, following the same line of guarantees, this was the 5th one. I believe it was Patrick DJ was the one who got me in the direction of the gear idea. And that comes down here to gear crafting. When we were asking about what else could we improve, which the gear crafting would be a guarantee red piece on every 10 craft. Now, why I say this is because if I come here to something that I actually have a bunch of mats for, and we click craft, there is a chance that I get a red piece, or there's a chance that I get all blues and purples. In this case, we got 1. So if we looked at this overall, if there was no guarantee here, I could have walked away with not a single red piece. With the RNG as bad as it is already in this section, having it 1 guaranteed red isn't gonna break the game by any means, because in this case, is this sword usable? Absolutely not. It's getting thrown away. Is there anything else here usable? I'm not gonna take the time to look over it. I'm just going to leave this here because we're just about done. No, rough glance, it's all trash. It's all getting thrown away. Here, I'll just go ahead and do it while I'm talking. But the concept here is that we get 1 red guaranteed in a 10 pull. What will help this in the long run is that it ensures that your material investments will basically equal to at least seeing something red every time you click that 10 button. Because there's not many people I know that come in here and click this thing one by one. But when we get low, sure, there's a chance that we might just tap it a couple times just to see what we get. But when you're going into a crafting of a specific piece, you're typically looking for reds. Especially with them looking at revamping the equipment systems and all things like that. They're going to start adding sets in even more. I think it's fair to say that, yes, we technically still need to see blues and stuff like that to help keep things from being all purple. But at this day and age, if you technically cut down the blues and pulled them out, then I guess you don't really need it, and it was all purple gear was the minimum level. I could probably see not needing that guaranteed red, but in the long term, especially adding in more sets, adding in more just overall RNG, because we don't know what their plans yet are for these sets bonuses at this point, or what they're going to be adding or changing to gear. But having one guaranteed red, I think most of the community would rally behind, saying, sure, it at least gives my value of something maybe potentially being good. It could be all flat stats and you end up throwing it away anyway. Or it could be the perfect piece you were looking for. You don't know. So I think that those would be 5 things that they could change in the game as far as other quality of lives that would help improve the overall health of the game. You guys are free to give all sorts of suggestions down in the comment below. I hope that Smilegate takes the few minutes to watch over this video. Again, I said I wasn't going to let it go on too long, but I had a lot of information to try to cover as quickly as possible. So let's wrap this up. I really want to thank you guys so much for the support of the 1 year video and for just the overall support you guys have given on the channel. It really does mean a lot. I hope Smilegate takes a few minutes and watches over the video to get my 2 cents, and hopefully this has helped you guys with the survey. I know it's a lot of information on it. I'm about to go fill it out here and give them my 2 cents, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.